Hello, children, and welcome to mathematics class for class 5. Today, we will be starting with chapter 7, fractional numbers. So, fractional numbers is something that we come across in different situations in our lives. We just do not know or realize, okay? So, today we're going to learn what fractional numbers are, how they look, and where they are used, okay? So, the first thing about fractions. Before we move on, let's look at this figure here. We have a circle here. If I draw a line in the middle, we have two parts. Now, if I ask you what this part represents, what this one part represents, you are obviously going to say that it is half, isn't it? So this half is represented by 1 by 2. Okay, children? So this part is represented by 1 by 2, and this is read as half. So this is about fraction. This is something that we use every day, right? So in fraction, we have two numbers. The number on top 1, the number below 2, and there is a line here. So this line, we can call it as divisor line. Okay, children? And the number on top, this number 1, it can be 2, 3, it can be any number. This number or this position, the number on top, the position on top is called as numerator. 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 All right? And the number below is called your denominator. So please do not get confused. The number 2 is not the denominator. The place where 2 is called the denominator. The place where 1 is, it is called the numerator. Okay, children? Now, this is all about an example that we are talking about the fractions. Let's look at the definition. Fraction is a part of a whole or a part of a collection. Now, when we say fraction is a part of a whole, we mean a whole object, or it can be anything. It can be a figure, it can be an object, okay? Or a part of a collection. That means it will be different objects together. Now we'll come to that in the next part. First, let's understand fraction is a part of a whole, okay? Now, if I draw a circle here and I divide this into 4 equal parts, 4 equal parts, and I number them 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you count these parts, 1 part, 2 part, 3 parts, and 4 part, all right? So we have 4 equal parts. Now, in this figure, if we draw in this manner, and I say that we take out this part, okay? We took out this part, that is part 1. Now, usually what we do, for example, this is a piece of cake, okay? This is a cake, you're taking out a piece. So what you usually do when you divide it among your friends, you say like, you take one part, you take one, you say you take one slice, you take one slice, you take the third slice, you take the fourth slice. So that is all we know about these parts. But now we're going to learn what this part represents. Okay, children? So what we're going to do is this. Here, if you look, you will see that this is one piece, right? This is one piece, or you can say part. And if you count the total number of parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 4 parts. So, to represent this one part, as a fraction, what we're going to do is, since this is one part, I will write 1, and this 1 will be on top of the line, above the line, okay? And there are total 4 parts, so the 4 parts will always come below. That means the selected portion, or the portion which you are considering, will be on top. It will be the numerator, okay? Numerator. And the number which you, the parts, the number of parts from which you are taking that one part will be below. All right, children? So this is about fraction of a whole. Whole means the whole circle, right? Now let's look at the next example. So in the next example, I'm going to draw 10 balls here. I'm going to draw 10 balls here, and we are going to arrange them in this manner. 5 balls in one row, 5 balls in one row. Okay, so there are total 10 balls altogether, and we have 2 rows. So I'm going to divide 10 divided by 5. I will get 2. That means in in one group there are 2 balls, in the other group 2. Similarly, all of them have 2 balls each. That means one part has 2 balls, the second, third, fourth, all are similar. Okay, children? So if we want to represent, for example, the number 3 by 5. Okay, children? Now, let's first understand what 5 is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means there are 5 parts. Okay? This will be your parts. And now, to select 3 out of 5. That means out of these 5, I'm going to select 3 parts. That means I'll circle it, I'll make an outline like this. 1, 2, 3. So this 3 represents the parts. This 5 represents the total parts. Okay, children? Now you can also say that in this 3 by 4, that means 3 by 4 portion, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 balls. Okay? All right, children? Now, before we move on, let's look at another example here. This 2 represents, as we have learned, numerator. This 3 represents denominator. Right. So, as I have already explained, 3, the denominator represents the total number of parts, the whole number of parts, okay? And the numerator, it represents the number of parts that you are considering, all right? So, this 2 by 3 is called your fraction. So, you can also say that fraction is any number that has a numerator and a denominator, all right? And one more thing about this 2 by 3 can also be written in this manner. 2 divided by 3. That means I'm dividing 2 by 3. Okay, children? Now, this is all about the basic concept of fraction. Now, let's look at the next topic. We have types of fractions. Now, even inside fractions, we have different types of fractions, all right? So the first one is called unit fraction. Now, just by looking at the word unit, we should realize that it has something to do with the number 1, all right? So, this unit fraction is such a fraction which has numerator as 1. That means in this fraction, the numerator is always 1. All right? For example, I can write like this: 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, 1 by 5. It goes on. You can write any numbers. Now, if you look here, you will see that the numerators, all the numerators, that is, all the numbers on top or above the line, are 1, 1, 1, right? So these are all called unit fraction. If you write 2 by 5, you can't say that this is a unit fraction because the numerator is not 1, it is 2, all right? So this is not a unit fraction. A unit fraction means all the numerators will be 1, all right, in this manner. Okay, children? Now let's look at the next type. The next one is like fraction. Now, like, here we are talking about same, okay? This like can also be considered the same fraction, all right? So this same fraction, what are these same fractions? Like fractions are those fractions which have the same denominator. So, like fractions are those fractions which have the same denominator, okay? So here, if I write 2 by 4, 3 by 4, 5 by 4, 7 by 4. If you look at all these fractions here, you see that 4 is common. That means this 4 is always below the line. So you have 2 by 4. 4 is below, 3 by 4, 5 by 4, 7 by 4. So all these 4s are below the line. So we can say that these are all like fractions. Okay? Let's look at the next. The next fraction is the opposite of like fractions. That means unlike fractions. That means they are different. They totally differ. For example, okay, before we go there, these unlike fractions are those fractions which have different denominators. That means I can write 2 by 3, 3 by 4, 6 by 10, 5 by 11, right? So all these fractions are called unlike fractions because their denominators are all different. Here we have 3, here we have 4, here we have 10, here we have 11. All right, children? So this is another part. The next type of fraction, that we're going to learn about is proper fraction. Proper fraction. Proper fraction are those fractions which have numerator, in which the numerator is less than denominator. So whatever fraction we write, the numerator should always be less than denominator. Then only it will be called as a proper fraction. We have been writing 2 by 3, 5 by 11, 7 by 13, 8 by 21. It can be any fraction, okay? These are just examples. So if you look here, the number on top is smaller than the number below. That means numerator is less than denominator. Same here, 5, 11, 7, 13, 8, 21. So those fractions which have numerator less than denominator, they are called as proper fractions. Okay, children? The next is improper fraction. So, improper fraction is just the opposite of proper fraction. That means numerator is greater than denominator. Example can be 3 by 2, 7 by 5, 11 by 9, 21 by 8, and so on. Here you can see that the numerators are greater than the denominators, right? So these type of fractions, when you see, you will call them as improper fraction. And the sixth type, they are called equivalent fractions. Equivalent. Now here, equivalent means equal, okay? Now, some fractions may look different, but they are equal. For example, what I mean is 1 by 2 and 2 by 4. I will say that 1 by 2 is equal to 2 by 4 because 1 by 2, if I want to make this 2 equal to 4, I have to multiply by 2. So 2 into 2, I get 4. So this 4 will be in the denominator place. And since I multiplied 2 here below, okay? Since I multiplied 2 in the denominator, I have to multiply 2 in the numerator, the same number, okay? So 1 into 2 is 2. So you're getting, when you multiply 2 on both numerator and denominator, you're getting 2 by 4, which is this fraction here. So these are the type of numbers. For example, you can also write 3 by 6. Sorry. Okay, by 18. So this we're getting 3 into 3, 6 into 3. 3 into 3 is 9, 6 into 3 is 18. So these type of numbers, these type of fractions, 1 by 2, 2 by 4, they are equivalent. 3 by 6, 9 by 18, they are equivalent. Okay, children? Now let's look at the last type of fraction. The last type of fraction is called mixed fractions. Now, mixed fractions, just the word itself says it is a mixture. So, mixed fractions are written in this manner. For example, if I write 2, 3, and 4. Now, this is a new type of number that we're learning. These are called mixed because this is a whole number, a number separate, or you can say a counting number, and a fraction. So, this is a combination of a whole number and a fraction. Okay, children? So, there are so many instances which we will come across. 1, 3 by 4. It can be any number. 2, 7 by 8. It can be any number. So when you have a whole number and a fraction together, they are called as mixed fractions. All right, children? So this is all about fractional numbers and the characteristics, how they look, what they represent, and the different types of fractions. So please try to understand all of them so that the exercises and problems will be much easier for you to solve in the coming days, right? So until I see you again in the next class, I hope you all stay safe and take care. Bye-bye.